bit. What makes Deep Blue Sea so watchable? It's a big question, Jay.
That is a big question. I think it's a combination of things. Like you've got some great characters, all well acted. You've got some fantastic set pieces, mainly the deaths, and you've got interesting locations. Like he's saying that Rennie wanted to have like a shark in a bedroom, have a shark in a kitchen. These are things we hadn't seen before. So he's giving us new visuals, new ideas of like sharks have been in films for years. There's nothing new there, but this is new scenarios and new adventures for them to have. A lot of people like kind of survival horrors, like a small group of people trapped somewhere trying to escape. That's a genre that's been drawn back to again and again and again. So it's sticking to that kind of formula, but it's doing a spin on it. Not everything is predictable in this film. Some things are, minute one that you see Scoggins, you think, yes, Scoggins is going to die at some point. That's a problem I have with Deep Blue Sea 2. Scoggins is split over 3 characters. One of them is alive at the end of the film. I watched to the end of the credits, waiting for him to die. It didn't happen. I was furious. Like the second you meet that guy, you think, okay, this guy's going to die. Keep checking my watch. He's still. What's going on? I couldn't understand it. They don't understand the rules of the film. That these characters must die. So yeah, I think it's just generally being very entertaining and also very well made, and a lot of the film is thought through incredibly well, as we've tackled for the past 35 weeks. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I also think for me, the movies that are most watchable for me when I sort of go through them, you have stuff like A Knight's Tale,
Yeah.
where I know it's 2 hours long, but there's really no drama, right? So in the beginning, he becomes a knight, and he's good at it already. He just has to learn how to joust. He's already a good sword fighter. And then when they get caught, it's about 3 minutes. And then when he's rude to Shannon Sossamon, it's another 2 minutes, and they recouple. So they're just, it's nice. There's no drama. There's like, so in Aliens, I love the movie Aliens, but you get the whole Paul Reiser's a bad guy, and then he turns on him, and then just beautiful film, but I don't know. This may sound sacrilege, but I don't want to watch it a lot. There's no what feels like unnecessary drama in Deep Blue Sea. So once you find out that they've been modifying them, that's 3 seconds. They look great in their sweat suits. They're all covered in sweat discussing things. And then the movie just propels itself forward. And I don't think anybody makes something like a really stupid mistake. Does anybody make a super stupid mistake in this movie?
Not that I can think of. I mean, no. Everyone who dies does so like either just trying to escape or trying to help the situation. You could argue that the stupidest mistake is Susan making sharks super intelligent, but even then, even that's done with the best of intentions, like trying to cure Alzheimer's, which again, not explained in Deep Blue Sea 2. Just they use sharks for the hell of it, just to make a good film, and they failed. So yeah, I everything is explained, is understandable. People complain that, Janice could have swum to the side to get out from the ladder, but we established in that chapter that Carter was reaching down for her. Her nearest option was right in front of her, right above her.
Yeah.
Susan makes a stupid mistake of jumping into the water to sacrifice herself and swimming out too far.
Yeah.
But even then, she would have died either way.
Yeah.
Because of the masonry.
I guess there's just no problem in it because there's nothing that I'm ever like, this is stupid or I hate or not. That's a strong word. I don't really think like that. But there's no unnecessary drama. There's no evil. Like McAllister's not. She's not going around sabotaging things to make sure that the sharks. She's not hurting other people to make sure she gets her research. It's just a nice, straightforward movie, and you bounce around with the characters. You get moments with you get different crews breaking apart. You get the cheeky omelet moment. You get the the kitchen fight. Then you get the office fight. Then you get Carter killing Scoggins. So the characters blast around. There's all good performers. I mean, the actors are good in this film. The deaths are gnarly. It's well thought out. So for me, what I love about it and why I watch it is there's no unnecessary drama. It's very lean. It's fun. It's inspired. It looks great. It had an excellent cast, as we talked about. I mean, John Cunningham, who's blown up everything in movies. So I think it's just a well-made movie that do you know what I mean about unnecessary drama?
Yeah.
Like, there's just no. You can just put it on and watch it. There's just sometimes there's some movies I love, but then there's this weird subplot or something that I feel is unnecessary. And there's none of that in this film.
That's kind of like, well, I just said that they could have brought back the pregnancy, but that would have maybe been unnecessary drama. We don't need that. It doesn't add anything to the film. We already have a relationship between Janice and Jim. Having Janice be pregnant wouldn't add anything to that relationship necessarily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would go under the unnecessary drama heading. And yeah, great characters, great performances, and you can tell the relationships between the characters very easily, but not stereotypically.
Yeah.
You know, like Carter is the bionic stud muffin, he's the macho guy, but he's still like a believable human character. He's not he's not a superhero.
No.
And like he wants to take Susan out for a date. She's a bit reluctant. She's a bit more business. It's less stereotypes than in Jurassic World, which has similar characters, but you feel like, okay, this guy, he can train velociraptors. Okay. It's less believable than Carter can wrangle sharks, I think.
And Jurassic World, I'm all business. Oh, kids? I don't have kids, but then you have to put kids on me?
That's such a stereotype.
But what I like about Susan McAllister's, she's driven. So first and foremost, she hired this sort of motley crew to work there because they won't ask questions. Maybe she knew to bring in Whitlock because of his god complex. Like, hey, we're gonna like do some stuff. And Whitlock's like, yeah. And you have these criminals, you have Skoggs, you have Preacher, who also seems like a former criminal, or if he's not a criminal, he's a recovering alcoholic.
Take me back to the ghetto. He's from yeah.
And he says it, yeah. He's like, so she hires this crew, and so she's just all business. She probably doesn't want to be close to these people because the closer you get to them, the more animal brain stabbing practice you see, and the more you learn that these sharks are super smart. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with being incredibly driven as far as a mad scientist. So I kind of like it. I like, I don't know. I even her character never. It makes sense. She talks about her dad, then she wants to kind of cheat, and then she gets in deep and over her head. It all makes sense to me, and I like that she never goes full heel on them.
Yeah, at the end, she does try to sacrifice herself, or she tries to, use herself as bait to save the day.
Mm-hmm. And also Jay, like her and Whitlock never expected that they could teach sharks to telepathically communicate.
No, or swim backwards, recognize guns.
Yeah. So when she lets it go, she's not thinking, oh, the winch on the helicopter is going to break off and the shark is going to grab it and use it as a battering ram. Like, that's not what she's thinking.
No. Again, Jim shouldn't have died. As far as Jim's death was not part of the shark's plan. Like, they expected to injure Jim, get him out of the way, because he's possibly the smartest guy in Aquatica, which would be bad for them. He might work out their plan to escape. So that winch breaking, that was just luck on the shark's behalf.
Mm-hmm.
We have a battering ram now. Maybe we'll go and find something else. Rip off part of that submarine.
Oh yeah, exactly. It could have ripped off something. I mean, if it can destroy steel, it could take that.
Yeah.
It just got lucky and has a sense of humor, so it took Whitlock.
Hey guys, what if we use this?
Yes. What's the yes with the A? Like WASSS? Yes. Just, yeah, and I don't know. There's just nothing in it to me there's nothing in it that takes me out of it. Like, I know the Susan McAllister scene is very 90s, but other than that, it's a fun movie. And also, I hate saying this, but I think I'm maybe too defensive of it because the whole narrative I hate the whole narrative of it's so bad it's good. Because I just think that's a lazy narrative. And, maybe I'm in a deep blue sea bubble, but it's not so bad it's good. This is excellent. Okay, for a summer blockbuster, popcorn shark in a facility movie, it's excellent as that type of film. It's what it is, and it succeeds, and it provides scares. Ebert said it gives surprises. So I just don't understand this narrative where people say, oh, it's fun, there's good performances, and there's general shocks, and I like some of these parts, but it's a bad movie. I don't get that block. So I'm happy we defended it for all these episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, I just want to take a minute to thank all the listeners who've come with us so far, who've listened to all of the episodes so far, and please do stick with us. Like we say, if you have seen Deep Blue Sea 2 but hated it, if you haven't seen it and are curious, if you haven't seen it and don't really care, please stick with us if you enjoy our chatting about these films, because we'll guide you through the next 10 chapters of this next film. And thank you to all the guests that we've had on to help us get through Deep Blue Sea. So do you mind if I thank them all individually, Mark?
Yeah, go.
So, yeah, thanks to Nick Rehak, Zanandi Boetes, Doug Jamison, Norbert Morvan, Richard and Amanda Kirkham, Kim Lowe and Elwood Jones, Sean Homrig, Liz and Heather from the Nerdy Bitches, Heather Baxendale, Victor Dandridge Jr., Will Slater, Aaron Neworth, Lisa Leahy, Nick DeSemlin from Empire, Jess Manzo and Lindsay Street, John Levengood, DJ Valentine, Jeanette Ward, Billy Business, David Cross, Megan Hoffmeyer, your wife?
My wife.
Yep. Robin Duff from Titanic Minute, Mark Armstead, Todd Liebenau, Brian Raftery, Paige, Justin Gott and Pete Conway, Kate McNabb, Matthew Stewart, Meg Highland, Robert Lamb, Niall Brown, Robert Zerby, and Fred Topple. Thank you all for joining us. Some of them will come back for the next chapter. We've got some new guests lined up as well who haven't been on yet. We're gonna have a good time. And of course, thank you to you, Mark. This wouldn't have been possible without you as a wonderful co-host. So no one else I would have rather do this with.
Oh no, this was fun, and thank you, Jay, for taking on a lot of the responsibilities and putting up with my shenanigans. Because I don't think many people would put up with the tangents we go on, but no, I appreciate it.
I'm happy to try and run with them as best I can. Often I would just mute myself and listen to you and the guest run off with them, because I haven't listened to all of the early '90s Christian rock bands that you go off on a spin on. So
the secret to my, I don't know, I don't want to call it success, it's just being as niche as possible. So yeah, it's I find some weird stuff to talk about, man. But no, this was fun. I'm glad you indulged me in this. This is it's my favorite movie, and I also enjoyed the Sagi Saga. I'm looking forward to exploring more of those movies as well.
Need to tackle some more films over at MFF. Yeah,
that's right. I just bought Deep Star 6 and Deep Rising, the loaded Kino Lorber Blu-rays with commentaries and new interviews, and they're monster movies underwater. I can't wait to tear into them. So I got a bunch of underwater stuff to talk about whenever you're ready.
Deep Rising is on my list to watch. I've been keeping a little list of all the shark-rated films or similar films that you see that have come up that I haven't seen. So I think The Shallows, the 247 Meters Down film was Bait, Shark Night, Sharks in Venice, Orca, The Reef, Rogue, Blackwater, and the sequel Deep Rising, Leviathan, Komodo, The Descent, Ravenous. These are all films I haven't really seen. I've seen bits of some of them, but for the most part I haven't seen them. So I've got this nice long list, courtesy of most of the guests. So yeah.
If you watch any of them, I would go for Shallows and the 247 Meters first.
Okay, they are the top 3 in the list, actually. So.
Yeah.
And I think cool. 2 of them are on streaming at the moment, so good.
Heck yeah. Shallows is good. I like Shallows a lot.
Okay, maybe I'll try and watch that soon. Who knows?
My wife makes fun of me because when it was on, I was using my leg to block my eyes. And people think that's weird, but you're laying on the couch and you're like, whoa! This movie freaks me out every time I watch it.
I'm with Meg. That is weird.
Well, that works. But no, yeah, it's good. That's another one I want to talk about eventually because it's good.
Okay.
It's fresh.
I don't think we should do that one chapter by chapter because from what I've heard, it takes place mostly in the same place with very limited cast. So.
With Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal, yeah.
If there's 8 chapters, maybe. I love that movie.
Okay.
All right, yeah. All right, cool. Let's get us out of here, Jay.
Okay, so that will do it for our coverage on Deep Blue Sea 1. Come back next week for our coverage on Deep Blue Sea 2. I hope you're as excited as we are. And you can continue following the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Deep Blue Sea Pod. Email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. Yeah. And yeah, that's know it by now. And you can find more of my stuff, my writing over at Life vs. Film, lifevsfilm.com, where I'm writing reviews now and then. I might do some more Deep Blue Sea related stuff now and then, who knows. And over on The Lamb, the large association of movie blogs, which is a big online collective of movie blogs and podcasts. Deep Blue Sea Podcast is now officially a member because I wanted to get to 2,000 and make us be number 2,000 because I'm in charge of it, and that's what I wanted to do, so fine. But also I host a monthly podcast over on The Lamb, on the Lambcasts podcast feed. It's a quiz show called Lamperty. It's inspired by Jeopardy. It's just movie trivia. But once a month, towards the end of the month, you can check that out over on the Lamcast feed. It's a fun time. Mark's been on in the past. Mark,